He heard her whisper it like a confession she had carried for too long, soft, trembling, almost afraid of its own truth. "I wish you were mine." The words didn't belong in a boardroom filled with glass walls, million-dollar decisions, and the quiet hum of power. They didn't belong to a woman who owned half the skyline. And yet, in that fragile moment, they shattered everything he thought he understood about her, and about himself. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of love that finds you when you least expect it, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Kindness Stories. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them most. Daniel had never planned to stand in rooms like this. His world had always been smaller, quieter, centered around a tiny apartment, a second-hand dining table, and the soft laughter of his 6-year-old daughter, Lily. Life had reshaped him long before he ever met her, the woman who now stood across from him, trying to hide the vulnerability behind her carefully built empire. Years ago, Daniel had been just another man chasing stability. Then life hit him with a storm he couldn't outrun. His wife had walked away, leaving behind not just him, but a child who barely understood why her world had changed overnight. Suddenly, Daniel was everything: father, mother, protector, provider. There were nights when exhaustion felt heavier than grief, when bills piled up faster than hope, and when he wondered if love had simply chosen to skip him, but Lily changed that. Her tiny hand in his made everything worth fighting for. Her smile was his anchor. Every sacrifice, every sleepless night, every quiet tear, it all became a promise to her that she would never feel abandoned. That promise led him to take any job he could find. Eventually, he landed a position as a junior assistant in one of the largest corporate firms in the city. It wasn't glamorous, but it was steady. It was enough to keep the lights on and Lily in school. And for Daniel, that was everything. That's when he first saw her. Sophia didn't walk into rooms, she commanded them. There was something unshakable about her presence, sharp, intelligent, distant. People didn't just respect her, they feared disappointing her. She had built her empire from nothing, climbing through betrayal, loss, and relentless ambition. To the world, she was untouchable. To Daniel, she was simply his boss. Their worlds weren't supposed to collide. He was invisible in her universe, just another name on a long list of employees. But life has a strange way of bending paths that were never meant to cross. It started with small things. A late evening when Daniel stayed back to finish work and she noticed a forgotten lunch he had brought for Lily, and she quietly asked about it. A moment when she overheard him on the phone, gently reassuring his daughter that he'd be home soon, that he hadn't forgotten her school play. Something shifted in her after that. Sophia had spent years building walls so high that no one could see past them. But Daniel's life, his quiet strength, his unconditional love for his child, was something she couldn't ignore. It was something she had never truly experienced. Her world was filled with contracts, negotiations, and calculated risks. His world was filled with bedtime stories, scraped knees, and promises that never broke. And slowly, she began to step closer. She started asking him questions, not as a boss, but as someone curious about a life she had never known. He answered carefully at first, unsure of her intentions. But there was no judgment in her eyes, only something softer, something unfamiliar. Loneliness recognizes loneliness, even when it hides behind success. One evening changed everything. It was late. The office had emptied, leaving behind silence and the distant glow of city lights. Daniel